As Frank West tries to come to grips with the reality of an outbreak of flesh-eating subhumans, a dire situation that seems from the scope of the Willamette Mall could be the undead end to humanity. His curiosity and journalistic determination to get the full story causes him to venture back out into what seems an inevitable death. September 19th. 9 p.m. Frank's contact Otis back in the locked security office informs him that the Space Rider roller coaster in Wonderland Plaza is running overtime. In fact, it's been going in circles for hours at dangerous speeds. Frank goes to investigate the suspicious situation, as it could mean that there are survivors there. As Frank goes to turn off the control panel, he hears...
Everyone used to laugh at me. I was a walking punchline. But not anymore.
Dead Rising is an action-adventure video game with a few sequels and a couple of movies. Holy shit. That was good acting. But we're only going to be focusing on the first game in the series. Esteemed photojournalist Frank West has hopped aboard a helicopter to investigate the town of Willamette, Colorado, which has been quarantined by the National Guard, barring some sort of outbreak. He jumps off the helicopter and informs his pilot to return in 72 hours. Somehow, zombies get in. After battling through the hordes of zombies, making his way back to the security room. The doors are sealed, and Frank West, in order to uncover the origins of the outbreak and potentially save human survivors, he makes his way through the ventilation system. This leads to the roof. He keeps contact with the safe house via a walkie-talkie. Otis contacts Frank in order to inform him of suspicious activity and potential survivors. Survivors. Put yourself in the situation. Hordes of undead, flesh-eating, soulless beings are running rampant, with the sole goal of eating you. Now put others in that situation. Maybe in your case, you would respond accordingly. A fight response. A by all means necessary, I'm going to survive, I'm going to fight my way out of here. Or maybe you will run and hide, avoiding the danger, barricading yourself in order to breathe and think a way out, or prepare yourself for the inevitable. Or worse, the fear can overcome you, leaving you still, motionless, having no response, becoming one with the horde. In any case, you were able to activate your fight or flight response. You would be jumpy or skeptical of all future interactions, especially if you came in contact with another survivor. You don't know the intentions of this person, and given the dire situation, assuming the other person is wanting the same thing as you, which is to survive, this wouldn't be a crazy assumption. But what if they were too far gone? Situational trauma can be caused by human-made, technological, and natural disasters. War, abuse, violence, vehicle accidents. The trauma response can cause those who experience psychological trauma to be proactive, reactive, or passive. Proactive meaning you try to correct the stressor as soon as possible. Reactive can be trying to minimize the damage of the stressful event. Passive can aim to ignore the stressor, which can lead to an emotional numbness and delusional response. Survivors may be going through any or all forms of this as the outbreak progresses. Within the game, there is a subset of rather hostile survivors, known as psychopaths.
This is no time to ogle pretty girls, son.
This is a main draw of the game. The psychopaths serve as very intriguing boss battles that have big rewards as far as leveling up, and even the weapons received are more overpowered compared to the normal weapons you find. Psychopath is defined as a person who is consistently exhibiting antisocial, impulsive, manipulative, and sometimes aggressive behavior. One of the psychopaths that Frank comes across fairly early in the game is one of the most memorable to fans of the series. Experiencing this as a young child playing the games was rather haunting and intriguing all the same. Allow me to play you the full opening cutscene of Frank West discovering Adam the Clown.
Stay away from there, Gramps! Huh? Everyone used to laugh at me. I was a walking punchline. But not anymore. When the zombies came, everyone died. That's why I decided to give all the happy people a lift on this fun ride. I won't let you stop the ride, Gramps. If the ride stops, then the zombies come back. And that won't be any fun at all.
Adam the Clown can be seen as terrifying and uneasy to many in several different ways. The simple fact that he is a clown, the careless behavior he exhibits as he hurls 2 gas-powered chainsaws into the air, juggling, which is quite impressive and simultaneously incredibly dangerous, completely inconsiderate of his own well-being and Frank alike. The way he speaks and cackles as he describes a situation that is anything but hilarious. Comparisons to the Joker can be made. A defense mechanism of laughter in order to deal with the traumatic reality around him. At this point, Adam laughs because he has to, not because he wants to. He is a clown, someone who was meant to be happy and cheerful all the time, no matter the situation. The kids around him are meant to enjoy themselves. But even when dealing with children who may not behave the best, a clown is meant to make fun of himself and entertain. Coulrophobia is the abnormal fear of clowns. For a while, the fear of clowns was considered irrational because the object of fear wasn't meant to be harmful. But since films such as It, Pennywise the Clown, Killer Clowns, or even real-life events such as the 2016 clown sightings and the serial killer John Wayne Gacy, the fear of clowns and stigma has all but done away with the idea of clowns being harmless or entertaining. The disguise of the clown leaves you feeling uneasy, slightly uncanny, because you know it's a human, but the face paint hides the intentions. It's a character. You don't know the person behind the disguise or what they are thinking. In the case of Adam, he seems upset at Frank's reaction to him. To us, we would probably have a similar response or even a more adverse response. But to Adam, the statement of "everyone used to laugh at me" is delusional behavior. In his mind, it seems that he is still entertaining, even though he is carrying chainsaws and being completely reckless. It's not different in his mind, so since he's not getting the reaction he normally would receive, it's not due to his own issues, it's due to the situation around him. His meaning, his way of life, had now become useless. He is useless. When the zombies came, everyone died. The reactions died. His existence as it is died. So now nothing matters. The only way to get things back to the way they were is to create a situation to keep the zombies away, so that Adam the Clown can live on. Despite the outright psychotic behavior of Adam, it seems he has some humanity left, even though it's very distorted. A small snippet of the scene shows the roller coaster with the two dolls in one of the cars zooming by. A boy and a girl, both depicted fairly young. Now these could be effigies of children, meant to represent them to Adam as a means of him keeping sanity. Children would be the symbol of hope for him, since that's mainly what he enjoyed, was entertaining young boys and girls. But the dolls could also be a placement holder, as to actually represent children to the player, because showing dead children or harm being done to children is not something that video games are generally allowed to show. So you could picture real children being placed in such a situation, and that could show the player just how fucked up the situation could be. Despite all of that, Adam in a sense is protecting the children by deciding to trap them on the roller coaster, which would save them from the zombies and all the harm and hurt being caused around them. In that sense, Adam the Clown has a shred of humanity, even though it's grossly distorted due to his mental state. Adam seems to be exhibiting a true psychotraumatic response to the massive loss around him. It could have been that he was around tons of children when the outbreak began, and he immediately threw himself into a heroic lead, defending the youth from the undead. But along the way, he couldn't do it all himself. He couldn't hold off the horde from eventually overcoming the children. And he has lost not only those he cared about, but those he felt cared about him. He still retains the skills from being a clown, juggling and blowing up balloons, but now it has taken an offensive turn in order for him to defend himself and the children. He has fire breath during your battle with him, throwing knives, he has toxic balloons, and of course his chainsaws. He has retained some acrobatic ability, which could be rooted in adrenaline and the heat of the fight. Adam has also seemed to retain intelligence, given the fact he uses his abilities to keep what he perceives as threats at bay. When the zombies came, everyone died. A joke on its own. As everyone died of laughter, and the zombies and the situation around him are funny. Life is funny on its own. You don't have to make jokes and be comedic yourself when everything around you is ironic and funny on its own. Seeing the world as it is funny. Life is funny. So death is utterly hilarious.
Ha 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 ha.